I started using when I was about 14. I was heavily addicted to methamphetamines and I was struggling. I was in an abusive relationship and it was a pretty rough time for me.
While in care, I was abused. I felt I was left to pick up the pieces. I ran into a wall, and as a self-medication, I turned to marijuana to get me through the day. And then what had happened was that escape turned into a free fall.
My mom is really abusive, and one day she just hit me and I felt like it took it too far, and I talked to my school guidance counselor and we decided that this was no longer suitable.
I don't talk to my family anymore because they're not healthy for me. It was always really rough at home. You didn't know what was going to happen. If you're going to come home and get beat up or tossed around.
I didn't know that these services existed, nor was I aware of them. It wasn't until I was admitted at Alberta Hospital that I started becoming aware.
Some youth are told that they only get 10 sessions or up until they're able to go back home, and you can't put a number on becoming healthy, and you can't just expect somebody to say a few words and be all better.
I had several workers kind of in and out of my life. None of them really stuck around. It was hard to, I didn't have an advocate and I didn't have a voice. Well, I was under the care of child welfare when I met my worker, and so she was assigned to me. I was given an opportunity to get into a program called McMahon. So they would actually pay my rent. I could live in an apartment in the community, and they assign you a social worker where you get a lot of one-on-one with them, and they will teach you skills like paying bills, cooking if necessary, and I needed something like that. So
initially I was in a group home through the family center, and so I was going to therapy consistently every single week.
The school social worker set me up with a group home. I went to school with a lot of high-risk kids, so she was very knowledgeable about the services and programs and what child services had to offer that they were keeping me kind of in the dark about. One-on-one counseling really helped me feel like I was a real person and that the emotions I were feeling were valid.
My counselor, actually, of almost 4 years, I know she's a real person. She's not just a book. She can really understand.
One way that I will always remember one of my workers that really helped me, she introduced a word called believe. And it's something that she recognized I didn't have for myself. I didn't believe in myself. It's kind of just one word as a reminder to say, believe in yourself, don't be hard on yourself. It's that strengths perspective.
Growing up in foster care, there's been such a huge disconnect to my First Nations ancestry, I guess, if you want to call it that. I do know of a lot of kids in care who have grown up and who have said similar things. They would have wished they could have went to a powwow or they could have went to a round dance here and there.
Having the opportunity to live independently was one of the greatest things that I could have possibly had. I've been asked the question before on where I think money should be spent. I absolutely think it's in that. And on more workers. That one-on-one time that I got with my worker was finally what I needed.
The burnout rate's really high, and you just need consistency. When you have to start over all the time, it's just really exhausting and you just feel really let down and like nothing's ever going to change.
I'm proud of how far I've come. Sometimes I look back on, where I was, and I sometimes don't even recognize that person. So I feel very, very proud that I was able to pull myself out of it.
4 years ago, I would never have thought that I'd be where I am now independently, going to counseling, going to post-secondary next year. I never would have thought that.
I know that I can do this. Life always offers you chances, and it may take work and you can do it. I feel like now I can do anything. I feel invincible.
I've come a very long way, and I'm immensely proud of myself. You start to heal, but you start to find strength and you start to find courage. And that's what I'm really proud of, is the fact that I was able to dig very deep inside of me and find it, and find that light.